Om Sadashiva Samarambam Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Ishvaro Guratmeti Mujibeda Vibhagine Vyomabda Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Savavedanta Sedanta Gocharam Tamagocharam Govindam Paramanandam Satguru Pranatoshmaham Om Shanti 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 Om Namaste. We are back on Bhagavad Gita, verse 1 and 2. We saw Lord Krishna praising that the real meditator, the real sannyasi is the grihasta who became karmayōgi. Yeah? So if a grihasta is samsari, and then there is no way whatsoever lifestyle and actions of samsari, they will never be converted into spiritual sadhana. But if a grihasta, such as ourselves, we become karma-yoga and dhyānayōga, and then we are good to go. So we are as good as a sannyasi in the ashram of Dayananda or whatever. But according to Lord Krishna, we may be even, superior. He is really, praising the grihasta and criticizing sannyasis that did not renounce many things, including the worries about the future. You remember, we closed last class with the worries about the future. Now we begin with a quick review, recap from Swami Paramarthananda. We have seen that the chapter 6, by the way, the chapter 6 is a very large chapter. There is so much to be explored here. And we will stay quite some time on this chapter 6. And the problem is that chapter 7 is wonderful because it's all about Saguna Ishvara, real nature, explain the nature of God, which is proving to be like, wow, incredible. So we have seen that in this chapter 6, Krishna presents 5 important topics, introducing the concept of dhyana or meditation. General disciplines being one of them, to be observed through one's transactions so that one can practice upasana successfully and furthermore nididhyasana successfully. So we need to somehow go through the first step, which is organizing our life in a way that we can observe, certain disciplines, which goes to say that one needs to become a karma-yogi. Then he deals with antaranga sadhanas, specific disciplines to be observed just right before starting a meditation. So now that I purified my mind by being a good karma-yogi, now I want to move into dhyana in a different manner, because before Krishna Guru was saying that the karma-yogi is already in meditation because his mind is seeing Ishvara all over. His mind is centered, focused on Ishvara, and he's so much so that he's offering his actions to the Lord. So he's already a meditator. But somebody say, okay, but I want to sit in my meditation cushion, in my meditation room, and moments that I'm not doing anything, still I want to meditate on the Lord. And then there are some other specific disciplines to be observed, yeah, that we're going to look into these details. The third topic is the nature of meditation. So Lord Krishna is going to explain the nature of dhyana, yeah, and the process of meditation. The fourth topic is the benefit of meditation, which is the palam, the result. And the final is like, okay, so Upasana is not working for me, and karmayōga did not profoundly purify my body, mind, sense complex. And then Krishna Guru says, and then you need to look for obstacles, and then you have to apply the remedies to those obstacles. Of these 5 topics, Krishna begins the chapter with the first one, Bahiranga Sadhanani. The general discipline the meditator should serve. Also talked about significance of these general disciplines. If we do not have a disciplined, balanced lifestyle during our interaction, then our mind will go through strong impressions, develop some violent reactions, disturbance, mental disturbance. So if I cultivate mental disturbance during my transactions, so those disturbances are going to form deep impressions or some scars in the mind. It creates scars. That's a nice analogy, scars. And once a deep disturbance, some scar is formed in the mind, that some scar will come out whenever the mind is quiet. So now, okay, now I want to meditate. When you go to meditate, you have those strong, violent impressions, traumatic impressions, that they work in analogy as scars. And those disturbances will be an obstacle for dhyana and for upasana dhyana and nididhyasana dhyana as well. As we know, we need to go one step at a time. For nididhyasana dhyana, the mind has to be further purified, not only by karmayōga, but mostly, in some cases, even by upasana dhyana, which is developing further one-pointedness of mind. Therefore, we need to be vigilant, analyze our mind regularly. When the mind is not preoccupied, whatever is deep in your subconscious mind will surface. They are like bubbles under the water. Or you can imagine a rubber ball or a piece of wood. When you keep it under the water, under some weight, the weight is removed, and then that will be coming to the surface. Similarly, on our subconscious mind also, there are many emotions that somehow are at the bottom or at the basement of the mind, as many say. It's deep buried in the mind, those subconscious issues. They have a huge emotional charge attached to them, invariably. They are there waiting. Now, they do not surface because the mind is busy and preoccupied doing things. As long as the conscious mind is involved in deliberate action, the subconscious mind will remain suppressed underneath. The moment conscious mind takes a rest, some relaxation takes place, the subconscious mind is waiting, and the bubbles are going to come to the surface. When you try to practice meditation, that is the ideal time for conscious mind withdraws from preoccupation. Then the subconscious impressions are bound to surface. And if I have many disturbing emotions during the day, they will remain as some scars. And during meditation, those transactions alone will come. Therefore, we should find out a method by which violent disturbance are not entertained, and I do not allow my subconscious mind to form disturbing samskaras. So life is became very, very complex. It has always been most problem, very, very difficult to be a human being, at least in this planet. We live in a field of so much spiritual ignorance, as I like to put, and everybody is brought up cultivating those extremely spiritual ignorant vasanas. Right? And then how are you going to begin purifying this mind? We need to find a method. We need to find a lifestyle which is conducive to that. And it does not help to escape from transacting the world. We need to see how we can do that. And to move directly into meditation, it may be more like an exercise in frustration, because I did that. I will never forget when for the first time, I went to live in the ashram of my first guru. And I was coming from a very stressful lifestyle in Europe. And then I was there in Pune. And there was darshan twice a day on those days with him. So the mind was really going such a deep meditation. And then out of the blue, in the middle of the night, I had that weird experience that I probably shared with you, in which I was being tortured in a desert somehow, somewhere, by 2 or 3 guys. And that was not just a dream, it was a strong release, of some profound, disturbing scars or emotions, fears, despair, all of that came to surface. I became unconscious for more than 1 minute, reliving that reality. And then I was sick for a month because my entire body has contracted in that circumstance. So these things, they come to the surface, but there are some methods by which we can gradually but surely, purify the mind and minimize the effects of these strong samskaras. And that's the life of karmayōga, which is going to purify the mind gradually, interacting with the world, remaining active, so that the shock between a very, very busy life with a lot of conflicting, painful, difficult vasanas, trying to jump into deep silence before the basement of the mind was at least primarily cleaned up a little bit. So I know firsthand experience that is too much of a stretch. So therefore, karma yoga, you are not going to be all the time in silence trying to meditate. No, you're going to keep interacting, but with a certain knowledge and a certain attitude that is going to purify many of those samskaras, avoiding those violent release and violent reactions in day-to-day exchange or experience interaction. So how do we do that? How to neutralize those strong emotions, those scars of the mind? It's a training of the mind. It takes much training to reduce samathivan, quality of mind. So it is equanimous and pure mind. So as they give an example of the great philosopher, when he heard the news that he has lost all his wealth in the first moment, a ship has gone to the bottom of the ocean, and he was shocked. In response, he said, "What?" Almost the heart was about to stop. And then the philosopher, he has gone through so much sadhana and training and study, and then he remained reminded remembered his knowledge, and then immediate came the proper response, they say, so what? So what? This changing from what to so what requires tremendous mental training, process of purification of the mind, which is naturally, gradually, but surely developed with style of life, a religious, spiritual lifestyle of the karmayōga. That is samatvam, and this samatvam or tranquility is called karmayōga. All of that to say that we need to begin with karmayōga. And therefore, Krishna talks about karmayōga as the method of maintaining the equanimous samatvam mind. Okay, the graph of our mind does not go too high, it does not go too low. It's almost in balance, it does not go like this, it's more like this. All right, are we all following? We have to remember that we respond to the stimulants coming from the environment. It comes from our subconscious mind. The first reaction comes from the subconscious mind. Our vasanas are influencing our reaction. That philosopher, the first impulse was to react from some of those residual vasanas, and he say, "What the fuck?" And then he gets himself together, compose himself, and say, "So what?" No? So the subconscious mind is going to condition our reaction. So we see the degree of purification of the person by one's very reaction to adversities, and sometimes to great accomplishments, as well. To emphasize the role of karmayōga, Krishna wants to glorify it. And karmayōga is none other than grihasta, a householder. And therefore, Krishna praised the grihasta, the householder. Therefore, the sixth chapter begins with the glorification of the grihasta householder who became a karmayogi. Indirectly, Krishna is glorifying karmayōga. And by way of glorifying karmayōga, Krishna is glorifying samatvam, which is an equanimous mind. So you should have the global vision. Grihasta glorification is equal to karmayōga glorification. Karmayōga glorification is equal to samatvam glorification. This passion, mental emotional balance in regards to our reactions to what is hitting us on a moment-to-moment basis. How does Krishna glorify a householder? By pointing out that the householder alone is the real sannyas. He gives a title, sannyas, so that it means that you all are real sannyasis, yeah? And not only those sannyas living in the ashram. He says that regular ashram sannyas are not the real sannyas, and by that he gives a knock on my head. Swamiji said, "Oh, he really hit me hard now because I was really believing that I was a great, renunciator." So professional sannyas is not the real deal. A householder alone is the real sannyas. Of course, it is a strategy of Lord Krishna, which is just poking the professional sannyas and stimulating or encouraging and inspiring everybody who is a householder, a grihasta, who believes that, oh no, it's impossible in the world, we need to go to ashram and do nothing. So he's also addressing that notion. Then again, Krishna points out a conventional meditator is not a real meditator. Who is conventional meditator? The one who has withdrawn from all activities and it's take a quiet place, quiet moment, quite a proper posture. Everything is perfect. A proper open or closing of the eye. The body is straight. This is a professional meditator. Krishna says that professional meditator is not true meditator. Then who is true meditator? He says a grihasta who became a karmayōga, who keeps the Lord in his mind at all times, offering one's actions to the Lord and taking the results as prasad. This is the true meditator. So Krishna here goes to the extent of criticizing the sannyasi for the sake of glorifying a grihasta. So natural Shankaracharya is a little bit disturbed by that. Ooh, a little gossip for us from the big guys. Shankaracharya is a little bit worried. Writing a commentary, he had to react a little bit because he is the champion of sannyasa. If he gets a little chance, he will talk about the glory of sannyasa and have a debate with Lord Krishna. So it's very interesting to read Shankaracharya's commentary on the Gita. Yeah? Shankaracharya will write sannyasi. For him, sannyasi. So there is a lot of Sanskrit here. Let me read word by word. He's going to explain his concept of sannyas. For him, sannyasi, manushya shayaha. Such a vehement, intense champion of sannyasi is naturally disturbed when Krishna criticizes sannyasi. And therefore, Shankaracharya adds a footnote. He says, do not take this criticism serious. Krishna does not want to really criticize the sannyasi. The purpose is he wants to glorify grihasta. Of course, we got it. We understood it. Huh? Therefore, temporarily, he is doing some seeming criticism. No? This is the scripture. It's called Nahi Ninda Nyaya. This is a method used in the scripture. What is this method? You criticize something for the purpose of glorifying something else. Criticism, this is something that we use in our day-to-day life. When we want to get the best of some people, some employees, or some. We just bring up whatever virtue is in that person, and we suppress the defects of that person. For example, I say, "Oh, Jesus, you are incredible." No? The focus is not criticism, but the focus is glorifying the grihasta, and this is called what we just have seen. Applying this law, Shankaracharya says Krishna is not really criticizing sannyasi. He is highlighting karmayōga. Having glorified the grihasta karmayogi in the first verse, the second verse, Krishna is justifying that glorification. Why does he call a grihasta real sannyasi? There must be some reason behind it. Normally, seeing a grihasta cannot be called a sannyasi because he has not renounced anything. Has she not renounced? Is there something bigger than renouncing any expectations in regard to the future? Surrendering any results to Ishwara's supreme knowledge. It's a big renunciation. And then once you renounce that, the only thing left is to renounce the renunciator, renounce the karmayogi who became such a religious person and somehow wrapped up his or her identity around being a karmayogi. That has to be given up in the end as well. But renouncing expectations in regards to the future is a big one. It's better than renouncing possessions and business and association with people. That may be scary to some grihasta because they don't want to renounce anything. They don't renounce the business, possession, and associations, the stock market shares. No? And then here, Swami explains that that's not the case. The idea here is to renouncing attachment, renouncing expectation regards to the results. Literally, the word sannyas means renouncer, as we know. Therefore, the question comes: what entitles a grihasta to enjoy the title of sannyas? And Krishna gives the reason. Krishna says sannyas means a renouncer. That is the literal meaning. The word sannyas does not say renouncer of what. No? So we take it to be let's renounce our lifestyle, our family, our business. So no, it just say you need to renounce, and we know that the renouncing some possessions is the most superficial level of renunciation. It's big for most people, but it's the most primary, superficial. So, and then he says here, so when we say that the meaning of the word sannyas is renouncer, so the scripture does not say renounce of what? No? Therefore, the question is, Krishna says sannyas means a renouncer, but the scripture or Krishna does not say renounce of what? That's not said. It does not say renounce of wife, children, business, and so on. It does not say renounce of home and job. Sannyas means renouncer. Therefore, Krishna argues karmayōga grihasta is renouncer because he has renounced his concern for the future because he surrendered to the Lord. That is the main criterion to become a karmayōgi, renouncing expectations in regards to your future, trusting the Lord, receiving whatsoever with gratitude. Why? Because one of the biggest problems, the biggest stressor of the mind is expectation in regard to the future, concerns, worries. What will happen tomorrow, next year, when I get older and older? Will my children take care of me? You know? Will I this? Will I get enlightened? Will I get moksha? Everything. Anything. Expectation, worries, concerns for something to be other than what it is, rather than trusting the process, trusting the Lord, and trusting that everything is going to be all right if you don't have desires, compelling, binding desires. If we want to control our future, we're going to have desires for certain circumstance. And since we cannot control circumstances as they unfold, we're going to experience a disturbed mind 24/7. So if we have desire, like Nisargadatta used to say, have your desire for the greatest, have the desire for the supreme, have the desire for the Lord, trust the Lord. Or if you are samsari, and if you want to live in the world of desires, just desire cheap things. Don't desire a big house, just a small little cabin, Don't desire a big car, but just a bicycle. Because those are desires easily accomplished. No? But no, people want to have big desires and then they suffer without understanding the mechanism. If we have concerns about the future, we are never really efficient in the present. Therefore, the karmayōgi is a very skilled person as well, because his mind is not concerned about what if I don't do it correct, what if I don't succeed. We have to make a difference between worrying and planning. It does not mean not to plan, but we should plan. Planning is necessary in life. Plan is a deliberate action which you can do at a stipulated time. What are your plans for year 2000, for example? Planning makes the person efficient in the present, whereas worries makes me inefficient in the present. Karmayōga is not against planning; he is against worry. Worry is not a deliberate action, but it is a reaction, and based on the obsession or expectation in respect to what will happen. Therefore, Krishna says that every karmayōga is a grihasta. He might have planned out, but he does not worry. He does his best and leaves the rest to the Lord. Therefore, one who gives up expectation and worries about the future has renounced big time. Therefore, he should be called a big renouncer. That's said in the second verse of the chapter 6. Therefore, Shankaracharya is pointing out to this. But Krishna was saying that when I say that you are sannyasi, I don't mean to say that you are conventional or professional sannyasi, but you are inner sannyasi. Yeah, inner. So you begin renouncing what? Renouncing expectations in regard to the future. Your mind became calm. You became very efficient in doing your actions dedicated to the Lord, receiving the results as prasada. And that makes you an unconventional sannyasi. Now, and then Swami Ji says something interesting here. Krishna does not want to recommend conventional sannyas in the Gita. In fact, Gita is a grihasta book. No? It's a grihasta guide, how to live a life, no? And developing a equanimous mind, a samatva mind, without having to disappear from your society and the roles you play in society. Krishna is not meaning to say that you, Grihasta, has to go to the ashram and become a professional sannyas. No. This is about Grihasta sannyas, and Gita is a Grihasta text. In Gita, Bhagavad Gita, the teacher, Guru, Lord Krishna, is a Grihasta. The disciple is a Grihasta, Arjuna. And these dialogues, they were written for the benefit of the entire humanity for many thousands of years to come. Even Vyasacharya is said to be a grihasta. Therefore, remember, throughout the Gita, Krishna does not want to recommend conventional sannyas. Therefore, he says sannyas is nothing but karmayōga vidhi. If you were good karmayōga, you will get all the benefits of a sannyasi. The audio is still good? My audio? Sannyasa is nothing but karmayōga vidhi. If you are good karmayōga, you will get all the benefits of a sannyasi. And then he says that is advantageous. Yeah, you will get the best of both worlds, let's say. The benefit of living your life interacting with the field, yeah? And at the same time you will get spiritual growth. You become a renunciator, a renouncier. If a person has to become a karmayogi, he has to necessarily renounce sankalpa. Sankalpa means, I told you, obsession with the future, expectation in regards to the results, obsession with the future, preoccupation. How do you define obsession with the future? Obsession to such an extent that you are not able to function presently in an efficient way. All my limbs are not functioning properly. Worry is compromise my efficiency. A very deep concern of worry. That is what me by worry. A person gives up sankalpa alone. The person who gave up this obsession and worries about the future, this person is a karmayogi. Therefore, karmayogi can be called sankalpa sannyasi. Okay, and that takes us to the verse number 3. For a seeker who wants to reach dhyānayōga, karma-yoga is said to be the means. For those who have reached dhyānayōga, renunciation is said to be the means. So now he's breaking it down. A seeker who wants to reach dhyānayōga, so let's suppose that one thing is karma-yoga, which is a form of dhyana. But now he's referring to a person who wants to become a good upasana yogi, yeah? A meditator, yeah? Doing the upasana dhyana. So a seeker who wants to reach that level, needs to pass through karma-yoga. So karma-yoga is said to be the means to reach a mind with samatva, equanimous, silence, balance, capable of going into deep meditation. So karma-yoga is the means. For those who have reached, read equanimous mind, renunciation is said to be the means. Okay, let's see what he's saying. For those who have reached, who is already a meditator, renunciation is said to be the means to get there. So you need to renounce worries, concern, expectations to get to that equanimous mind. And karma-yoga lifestyle is also means to get to samatva mind. So now the question is, how long should one follow karma-yoga? Is karma-yoga an end in itself, or is it only an intermediary stage of sadhana? So we have seen it already in the previous chapter. Karma-yoga is not an end by itself, is not the ultimate sadhana. Karma-yoga is only an intermediary sadhana by which a person can attain jnana yogataha prapittihi. A prepared, refined, sharpened, sharp mind. Very, very pure and refined mind. Karma-yoga has a plus point. That it can purify the mind, but we should also know the minus point or limitations of being a karma-yoga. And what is the limitation? This is now interesting. He's going to present also the downside of being a karma-yogi, which is something we cannot argue against. What is the downside? A limitation is that karmayōga will never give liberation to anybody. And therefore, we should have a balanced attitude because a person can commit a mistake. One person overemphasizes karmayōga and claims that remaining in karmayōga, I will get enlightened. This is one extreme. They do not believe in scriptural study. They do not believe in dhyānayōga. According to them, they keep on doing karmayōga, praising and loving the Lord. And one day, like a flash of lightning, the devotee will become a yoni. This is one extreme, is denial or negation of the fact that only the study of the scriptures and the understanding of one's true nature will bring about moksha or enlightenment. This is a mistake. The other extreme, a person says that karmayōga is utterly useless, and therefore I will not take to karmayōga at all. So one person embrace karmayōga totally, another person renounce karmayōga totally. Another person bypass karmayōga totally. Both are extremes. And that's what we see in the West. In the West, people never enjoy this notion of become a devotee or karmayogi, and accepting whatsoever results as prasada, offering one's life, keeping in mind the Lord with spirit of reverence and gratitude. None of that makes much sense in the materialistic side of our planet, which appears to be more in the West. Yeah? So, but people heard about enlightenment and they want to be enlightened, whatever they imagine enlightenment is. But no talk about God, because that is something of the past, primitive kind of concept. So that is the extreme we see in the West. People go through these bits and pieces of dhyānayōga, proclaim themselves to be self-realized, and they don't prescribe karmayōga because they don't know what karmayōga is, and they have never been a karmayogi. Yeah, they never went through the process as a karmayogi. So one person embraces karmayoga totally, another person rejects karmayoga totally. Those are the extremes. Krishna says then, what is the balanced attitude? Use karmayoga as a most natural way to purify and refine the mind. And then gradually you begin studying the scriptures, and doing your shravana, manana, nididhyasana, entering more and more into the yin yoga and reaching the nididhyasana stage in this process. So you remain still with a certain spirit of yin yoga, but you will see your mind is going to be shifting from that triangle format, thinking about the Lord who created me in this world. I know it is apparent, but still I have a vasana for the triangle format. I think about the world, I think about the creator, the laws, and I think about myself, and I know I must be a perfect devotee of the Lord. So, and I'm getting so much from it. So that obsession begins fading, and almost without noticing, the devotee turns into inquirer, studying the scriptures with the help of a guru. In the end, we have to get out of karmayoga. So why to go? And then another argument is, oh my God, it's like everything in life. This is the first stage. And then there is the second stage and third stage, and then the final stage is the fifth stage. Opa, take me there. I want the final stage. Understand? Because every one of the previous stages I have to drop and reject later on. So I reject from the beginning. So this is the mind which wants to go through shortcuts and believing that the intermediary states are not necessary because I'm highly, highly qualified to jump into the final stage. This is idiocracy. Then another person enters college and falls in love with the college and the professor, and then wants to stay in the college forever, never moving on, and never going to the working place to find a job and give something back to society. There are people who do that. One degree, another degree, they never want to go to work. Both streams are incorrect. That's life. We keep dropping things behind, withdrawing from things after those things have served certain purpose. Now we see it in every aspect of one's life. Our relationships with other people as well. I'm not talking about husband and wife or anything, but you have associations here, and then you learn what you need to learn from that kind of association. When you see, you are attracted by another kind of association of people, and then you're going to learn a little bit more, and then when you see, you drop. And you should never be guilty. Oh my God, I don't see my old friend from 30 years ago. Of course you don't see it because you have moved. Yeah, that kind of relationship have served a certain purpose. Yeah? That's why Krishna did not present the chapter 6 as the chapter 2 at the beginning of the Bhagavad Gita. Meditation is not addressed in the first chapter, not in the second chapter. Krishna never teaches meditation until the sixth chapter. If anybody wants meditation, Krishna advises to start from the first 5 chapters, attending the class, understand the 5 chapters first properly, and then you begin the sixth chapter. If you take Patanjali Yoga Sutra, meditation is never prescribed in the beginning. It talks about 80 stages, yeah, Ashtanga, and then Yama, and so on. Pranayama, and then in the end, Dhyana and Samadhi. So many people want to practice only meditation. Swamiji, do not talk about classes. And all I do not have time to come. Tell me when you're going to enter the sixth chapter because I want to meditate. I will give my phone number, then call me when you begin the sixth chapter. If Krishna chooses to teach 5 chapters, Krishna means that everybody should study the scripture before becoming a meditator. You cannot jump into meditation without preparing the mind for meditation. So you need to go through the understanding of karma and dharma, going through the initial chapters of Bhagavad Gita. If anybody asks for meditation and they do not want to study the scriptures from chapter 1, you can prescribe meditation. Meditation then has to be prescribed in a very simple manner. Just chant Rama, Rama, Krishna, Mana mentally, and that is the only dhyana one can understand, That's the only kind of dhyana you can do without going through the 5 initial chapters of the Bhagavad Gita. That's the point. Simple meditation. Just repeat the mantra without even understand the meaning of those words. Krishna again is saying that if one should qualify to become a Jnana Yogi and Karma Yogi, Jnana Yogi and Jnana Yogi, one has to pass by Karma Yoga, therefore be a Karma Yogi. In fact, in Patanjali Yoga Sutra, Yama and Yama is equal to Karma Yoga. Those bits and pieces of information, very nice, huh? In the end, it's the same soup, huh? Just present in a different way. There are some distinction there because ultimately the Patanjali system prays the final destination as a state of great samadhi and things like that. So therefore, Krishna tells if a person wants to purify the mind for Jnana Yoga, then what should you do? Practice Karma Yoga. That's why Veda begins with Kamakanda. It did not begin with Upasana. It does not begin with Nididhyasana. It begins with Karma only. Then Krishna says, how long should I do the Karma Yoga? Do not permanently hold on to Karma Yoga. Once you have got the necessary preparation, you have to grow out of karma. Then I should stop doing any and everything. No. You're going to reduce karma and increase, make room. Your mind is going to be pure and discriminative enough to open time and space and energy for more and more Nididhyasana, Shravanamana Nididhyasana in the light of the Upanishads declarations of identity, and then you're going to be less focused on Karma Yoga. You understood Karma Yoga is not an end by itself. Swami talks about preparation of the mind and integration of the mind. Integration of the mind is a concept that Swamiji presents again and again. What should you do? Just as you enter the college and come out, we all enter the womb of our mother and remain there for 9, 10 months. And thereafter, words, what did we do? It's so cozy and comfortable. I did not even search for food. This is nature. The child will push and come out, comes through. You can never stick to anything in life. Beautiful. Everything is moving, and we need to go through things knowing that the past has to be let go of. And the ultimate is to let go of the old body, physical body, or ill physical body, saying, okay, so it has served the great purpose. That's nature. Any relationship you enter knowing that you should grow through any relationship and grow out. Even a guru shishya relationship cannot be permanent. One has to grow out of that relationship as well. Therefore, Krishna says, sadhana shakatus taya sampasnatya. He has to withdraw from Kama Yoga gradually, withdrawing from the inner sadhana, which is based on the triangle format. I see myself as a Jivatma, a great devotee of Ishvara, living in this dangerous world and having the protection and developing equanimity to receive adversities from this dangerous world with samatvam, with equilibrium, balance. The withdrawal from karma is in two ways. One is withdrawal from ritualistic ritualist traditional withdrawal, which in the form of taking to sannyasa ashrama, which is a formal withdrawal, because a person enters into Vedic rituals through formal methods only. When the person takes to sacred thread, it's getting the formal qualification for many of the Vedic rites or rituals. And if those rituals have served the purpose, it can quit the rituals, but quitting also should be done formally. There is a ritual when you become a sannyas that that ritual allows you to definitely uh, quit, give up, stop all ritualistic sadhanas. So you have graduated, and before you had to be qualified by initiation to rituals. Now you have another ritual, which is the ritual for quitting all rituals. So everything in life is like that. You can quit the rituals, but quitting also should be done formally in our Vedic tradition. It's exactly like quitting a job. You cannot suddenly go to the office and say, I quit. No, you have to go there formally and offer your resignation with a letter and so on. And then in due time, they are going to let you go. Some companies ask for 3 months even. So this is one level of renunciation. Not to do some other akrama. I want to replace those rituals by a ritual of self-inquiry. I want to do more of philosophical inquiry. I formally take permission. This is one form of withdrawal. There is another form of withdrawal in which a person does not give up ashrama. A person does not become a monk in the literal sense of the term, but remains in grihastha ashrama itself and reduce the amount of activity. So there is no way. I mean, we need to reduce the amount of activities if we want to do Shravana, Manana, and Nididhyasana. It takes time and energy. We need to make room for that. We begin simplifying our lives. The mind is pure enough. The mind is going to feel very attracted to Upasana Dhyana and Nididhyasana Dhyana. The mind is going to be very attracted to Shravana, Manana, and Nididhyasana Dhyana. Naturally, it happens naturally and spontaneously. So if the person was doing rituals for hours, many hours, he reduced the ritual for only half an hour in the morning, 1 hour. Uh, he even reduced unnecessary activity because action is necessary for us to live in this planet. But most people they do actions which are not necessary. And one of the actions that people do which often is not necessary, is verbal communication because it's a verbal action. Communication, words should be used for proper communication, clear and proper communication. So one has to give up unnecessary actions. Unnecessary mundane activities must be reduced, handing them over to delegating the job to someone else. So delegating. If you don't have anybody to delegate, just simplify your life. Close some business. Oh no, I'm gonna close this business. It's an activity I do online. I close this one as well. I will remain only with one activity to provide for my survival and my family. And therefore, I can increase my Vedantic process, you know? But to give up all of that, it requires a certain degree of non-attachment. You agree, no? Because if we attach to activity, if we attach to associations, and we attach to action, no? Or we attach to the material fruits of those actions. Oh no, I want to get enlightened, but I still want to be a multimillionaire, and I want to make 100,000 a month. So those are conflicting goals. No? It requires detachment, so or else we will not give it up. Even if I give up, I will not forego my kavi key, that power you know that is important. There is nothing in the world, but still I hold on to the kavi. This is kavi, I don't know what it means. It's something of the India. It's a key that you hold on. Okay, understood. So I gave up some activities, but I stole the key of the office because it reminds me of my position there. Something like that. Drop those things and hand over the responsibility to somebody else. Gradually but surely withdraw from unnecessary activities. Activities serve the purpose to purify the mind because you became a sannyasi. So you did all those dense activities in the light of certain knowledge and attitude that has brought your mind, prepared your mind for Shravana, Manana, and Nididhyasana. Therefore, reduce your activities, withdraw gradually and surely. Therefore, you have two options. Either you become a former professional sannyasi, or you become informal, unprofessional, but definitely a grihasta sannyasi who became a sannyasi, who became karmayōga. There are all technical names to point to these subtle distinctions. Their significance is reduction of extrovertedness. So you can only do that if the mind is already disciplined or purified in a way that rajas is not extroverting the mind, you know, again and again. So a reduction in mental extrovertedness has been achieved because an extrovert mind cannot be make get into self-inquiry and Shravana Manana in a efficient with a good possibility of success. So since in the beginning we all have too much Raja Guna, the Tamil Guna people do not come to the religious spiritual process of elevation. You need at least to have a Rajasic personality with some sattva that helps you to understand that you will do forever things, but somehow you'll never be happy. There is something more to life that I'm missing out. So in the beginning, we are all very rajasic, extrovert, and we must do action, but we need to convert all those actions in sadhana, spiritual sadhana. We become a karma-yogi, and then we turn away from karma-yogi. We become an unconventional sannyasi. He's still doing some actions, but making a lot of room for my inner work. And having withdrawn from the activities, how do I spend my time? Time is spending more of self-inquiry, more Shravana, Manana, and Nididhyasana. My Shravana, Manana, and Nididhyasana becomes dominant, and my interaction with Ishvara as the Dharma field is reduced. So that is the concept. There is nothing new for us, but it's building beautifully. Later on, Swamiji is going to explain some other upsides and downsides of both ashramas, the Grihastha and the Sannyasa ashrama. He's going to present some upside and downsides, which not just the mistaken idea that this is an end by itself or this is useless, but in both lifestyles there is ups and downs as far as self-knowledge and moksha is concerned. We come back next Tuesday with from the chapter 4. Ishvara willing.
Want to discuss an alternate time, or remember I'm going to be gone 9th and 16th traveling.
So 9th is next Tuesday. Okay.
Right.
The next 2 Tuesdays, Lynn is not going to be available. Shall we do Wednesday? Wednesday will be good for me. Or Wednesday will be okay or not? Lynn?
Well, for me, it will. Yes.
Wednesday you would be back home or at your destination?
Yeah. Settled at.
So is Wednesday good? Mark?
Yeah, Wednesday will be okay for me.
Okay. For you, Philip? Could work, maybe? Possibly?
Yes.
Hubert should be okay as well. I'm okay, so I'm going to announce the next 2 classes on Wednesdays rather than Tuesday. Okay? Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishate Om Shanti 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 Om. Namaste. We talk soon again. We meet
Right,
again.
thank you very much, Arvindo.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Okay, bye now.
Bye.